If you're wondering what's the difference between the version 1 and the version 2 of the Ronin Alpha, keep on watching.
Let me work it, let me work it, work it, work it, work it, let me work it, work it, let me work it.
What's up, caballeros?
So, we are here today to provide you the clear differences between Ronin Alpha version 1 and version 2.
Without further ado, let's get into it. So I will be starting off from the rear bottom going to the front, and Miko later on will be doing the front
Going up.
bottom going up. So now we'll start with the rear tires. Now for the rear tires, the difference between the version 1 and the version 2, even though it's both solid tires, the tires of the version 2 has more grips compared to the version 1. Why? Because the texture of that specific wheel, or let's say tires, it has more rubber feel compared to the version 1. Now moving on to my most favorite part of this electric scooter, the tire hugger. Now for the tire hugger, both has brake lights still, but the difference between these two is it has a wider rear light compared to the version 1. On this video, you can take a closer look and see the difference. Now moving on to our hydraulic suspension. Now for the hydraulic suspension, as you can see, the version 1 has a glossy finish, but the version 2 has a matte finish. Comparing the suspension from these electric scooters, it has a better suspension because of the comfort that you will be getting from the version 2. Alright, so moving on to the footboard, as you can see on the version 2.0, it has a rubber grips already. Compared to the version 1, it's just pure plastic. Now, for the version 2, it's already a metal and with a rubber grips on it. Moving on to the next one, the whole deck itself. Now for the whole deck itself, the most obvious part of this electric scooter is the logo. As you can see, the difference, the version 1 has the inverse triangular logo, but for the version 2, it has the word of the model itself, which is the Alpha. That's one of the most distinct difference from the version 2 and the version 1. Now, moving on to the whole rubber grips. It has the same rubber grips, but with a different
Style.
and design. Yeah, for me, it's still quite stylish. I kind of like the version 1 because it's more robotic, but for the version 2, it's more of a reptilian skin.
I spoke to the owners and it's actually a dragon.
So it's kind of, yes, a dragon is a reptile, right? So it kind of has a dragonic skin. So yeah, the texture of this is it's really cool to see. That's one good thing from the Ronin version 2. Moving on, the second to the last part would be the side panel lights. As you can see, the two differences from the version 2 and the 1 is the side panel from the version 2 has my favorite color, which is blue. Now for the blue side panel lights, as you can see from the version 1, it only has a rear eagle eye, which is red. Now for the version 2, no more eagle eyes, but it has a blue touch, which is the running blue lights. I kind of like the upgrade from that one, from the eagle eye to the running lights. So good on you, version 2. And on to the last part, from me, caballeros, I will be discussing the folding mechanism of this electric scooter. The difference from the two units, the first one is a step-on folding mechanism for the version 1. And for the version 2.0, you had to pull the lever first before you can fold the unit. From the version 1, it's easier to use your feet, and for the version 2, it's easier to use your hands. So both ways, it has both pros. So version 1 and the version 2 folding mechanisms for me is equally good. And before we move on to the next half of the differences from the version 1 and version 2.0 of the Ronin Alpha, don't forget to click that subscribe button
And hit the notification bell so that you'll be notified whenever a new video comes up.
Moving on to the remaining parts of the differences from these two versions of Ronin Alpha. Take it away, Miko.
Alright, thanks Bryce. So first from me is the swing arm. So there's a very huge difference between the two in terms of the construction or the aesthetics of the units. So for the version 1, it's a plain solid swing arm versus version 2 that has cutouts, or it is hollow, which is, according to the owner, the purpose of this is to reduce the weight of the unit, which is a pro for me.
The lighter the unit, the better.
The next very obvious difference between the versions 1 and 2 is, of course, its stem. Alright, so version 2 has a longer, thicker, sturdier, more durable stem compared to the first one. I'm not saying that the first one is not. I am saying that the version 2 has more. It offers more durability. It offers a wider, bigger, longer stem.
And more style.
And more style, actually, because it has certain edges, or it has certain aesthetics. It veered away just a little from the usual plain shape. So it added more styling, more looks into the unit of the version 2. So the next obvious difference is the longer extendable stem. The vision of version 2 is to make the stem longer, which is very good for those riders who are taller. It's a pro. So thank you for this upgrade. Thank you for listening to your customers. It's a pro. Good job with us. The next difference, of course, having a bigger stem needs a better way of securing the stem. So hence providing more screws to ensure better security.
It also adds up to the height of the stem.
Yes, thank
Because
you.
of the additional screw, it also heightens the grip for this stem.
The next difference between versions 1 and 2 is a subtle one. Because as you can see, we have a different wire organizer placed on version 1 and version 2. I like the one that is used for version 2. And the last difference of versions 1 and 2 are the parts of the unit in the handlebar, because the wirings are now plug and play.
For ease of use, when you need to replace a certain part from the handlebar.
For example, if the rider feels or needs to change a certain part, for example, the throttle, if the rider needs to change the throttle, then he just needs to remove it, plug and play.
And for a discount for this electric scooter, don't forget the promo code
Ronin Nights 2!
For 1,000 pesos off
the price of
Ronin Alpha version 2.0. Alright.
And that sums up our comparison from these two electric scooters, which is the version 1 and the version 2.0 from the Ronin Alpha. And if also you like our comparison video, don't forget to click that like button. And if you have something to ask regarding these electric scooters that we haven't discussed it yet, feel free to comment down below, because we will be reading all of that and we will be answering your questions.
Yeah.
And for our question of the day,
If there will be a version 3.0, what improvements would you like to see from the version 2.0?
write down in the comments below. We want to know. And that's it for today, caballeros. See you on the next one.
Peace.
Glossy finish, but the version 2, the version 2 again from this unit, from this series, from this from this Alpha. And before we move on to the next half of the differences from the version 1 and